Cosplay. Noun. The practice of dressing up as a character from a movie, book, anime, comic book, or video game. From the outside looking in, it seems to me that cosplay is a perfect combination between creativity and passion. But I've always wondered, what does it take to cosplay? So I welcome you to join me as I learn what it takes to create, build, and wear a cosplay. This is Teach Me How, Cosplay Edition. We are only a couple weeks from the convention and we have finally completed the outfit and props for our Hellboy cosplay. However, there are a couple things that we need to help take this cosplay to the next level and get ready for the con. While these are completely optional pieces for the cosplay, we really want to make an impact, so we've opted to get some colored contacts and a wig to complete our Hellboy. We got some bright yellow contacts provided to us by Lens Hub. In the comics, Hellboy's eyes are completely yellow, but for the sake of comfort, we are not using sclera lenses, so that we'll be comfortable wearing them all day at the convention. Make sure you check out Lens Hub when you need to order your next costume contacts, either for Halloween, cosplay, or just for fun. And while my hair is already quite dark, we wanted it to be longer and closer in texture to Hellboy in the movies. To accomplish this, we got a wig. This wig is from Arta Wigs Canada, an awesome wig supplier right here in Ontario. They carry a multitude of products for cosplay, including wigs, Warbler, EVA foam, and more. Make sure you check them out at the link below. Now you may be asking, Michelle, why the heck have you not mentioned the fact that you're clearly not red? Well, don't worry, my friends. For the final transformation steps, we reached out to Raquel of Glamour and Gore.
So we're going to be using a bunch of different products. I have water-based paints, which we're going to use for the base, shadows, and even cream paints, as well as eyeliners, and then also to attach these little guys here, we're going to be using liquid latex. A variety of brushes, you'll definitely need those. And that's pretty much it. It's a super simple look, so it shouldn't take too long to put on. So I'm excited. Let's start. So first thing first with face painting, you always want to start with your base first. So in this case, we're going to do a completely red base using the Maron Paradise water-based paints. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to soak this sponge in water, lather that up, and this will create evenness as opposed to a brush, like the sponge instead. So we're just going to dab, 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 literally.
Is there anything you recommend to like prep the face before doing something like this?
Just basic moisturizer. Always, for any type of makeup. You never want to apply makeup on a bare face. It's not going to last, 1. 2, it's going to crease easily, and it's just a mess. Always moisturize before doing makeup on your face. So I'm avoiding the eye area just because I will be adding lots of shadows and darker colors with my shadows, not with the water-based paints. And the paint job doesn't have to be perfect when you're creating the base, because you're going to be adding all these different colors anyways on top of it. It's literally just to create a base. And then of course we're gonna powder everything, and that'll even increase the longevity of it. But even this in itself, honestly, would stay. When I was doing Halloween makeup for people, when I was doing skull faces, I would have to go on their lips, right? Because that's how you create the skull, whatever. And people were asking me what if I eat, when I drink, whatever. But with this specific paints, it was completely fine. No smudging whatsoever. when you start, again, using those Party City type of paints, for little nooks and crannies of the human body, a brush is fine to use too, if the sponge doesn't work. It's working fine with you, but...
If someone had like a smaller ear.
Yeah. So now that we have the base and the water-based paints, next we're gonna use creams to add some definition. We're pretty much going to contour your face, but using like dark reds and black paints. Now I know I said don't put cream on top of shadows, but I'm not doing it on top of the shadow. I'm doing whatever didn't touch the shadow. I almost forgot. I want to add some brightness, so I'm using an even brighter red. Okay. This red. You can do this in shadows too. That's fine. Or water-based paints, whatever.
Depending what you have, I guess.
Honestly, it depends on what you have. You make use of what you have, honestly.
So if we were doing like a natural look, this would be where the concealer would go?
Exactly. Well, yeah. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna add it just like kind of where the cheekbones are. And definitely, again, using a sponge as opposed to a brush just to get more evenness out of the look. Pretty much before I put any shadows on your eyes, I want to use eyeliner first, kind of to tight line your eyes and to also create like a basic shape that I want. And this can differ depending on what you like. I kind of like that smokiness, like even under the eyes. Like I think it gives that, I don't know, that extra oomph to the look. So, okay, for tight lining, yeah, just close your eyes for me. You're just gonna go as close to lash line as possible. And I wouldn't use liquid liner for this. I'm using pencil eyeliner, because the shadows will stick on better. Yeah, so I'm gonna have you do that, and I'm literally gonna go in with the shadow while you're doing that. And
okay, cool.
By the time you let your face loose, it just looks like
perpetually,
yeah,
resting bitch face forever.
Exactly. But I'm also kind of arching the eyebrow a little bit more beforehand, just to create that angry vibe. It looks crazy with the contacts. It looks really cool.
Yeah. The yellow is such a contrast with everything else.
Okay,
We didn't say this, but if you have colored contacts, put them in before
Yes.
you do all of the eye stuff.
Always put your contacts in before. Or all hell will break loose. Okay, so close your eyes for me. Now I'm just patting again. I'm never ever swooping. I'm always patting on my shadows. And the water-based paint dries so matte that you can apply it over the shadow and then use the shadow on top, as opposed to
Okay.
as opposed to using cream and shadows. That doesn't work, but shadows and the water-based paint works fine. Don't be afraid. You don't have to follow your exact lip line because you're doing cosplay. You want to go extra. You want to make it very caricature-like. Doing lips is super hard because you want to make that chiseled effect. You don't want any blurs. So what I do, I hold my hand like as I do it. Or while I'm working on other people, I'll just kind of like do this. As long as I'm holding my hand and it creates that stability. Items to bring with you while you're at the event. I would bring things like a black eyeliner because naturally the waterline is always being moisturized. Eyeliner and powder just to blot any excess oil or sweat. So those two things and you're good to last the entire event for sure, 100%. Shadowing the natural arches in your face, pretty much. So now for the fun part of adding that character of an angry person, I guess. So make an angry face, literally, and you're just gonna follow the natural lines on your face with a very precise brush. Even a Q-tip works. As I'm doing now, I'm just putting the cream paint just to fix any imperfections that I see. You can do with the Paradise paint too, but the cream is pretty effective also. As long as you're powdering after, it's fine. pretty much. Now we're going to apply these horns, and these were actually made out of latex itself, and latex is great because you can form it into any shape you want pretty much as long as you have a good mold. You use clay.
Yep.
Right, so the clay, and then after latex on top of the clay to create that shape, let it dry, take it off, and now we're going to apply it using liquid latex also. So I'm going to pour a little bit of the latex into a bowl, just to have it on me and ready. Just a little bit's fine. And then we seal it all with latex after it's applied on, and I'll show you that later. You can use either a loose powder or, oh my gosh, what's the opposite of a loose powder? Yes, you can either use a loose powder or pressed powder, totally up to you, whatever works, whatever you have. As long as the powder is covering those areas that you use the cream makeup, or it will smudge. So for example, I use the cream makeup on her lips. I'm going to be putting a lot of powder on her lips. So now to apply those latex horns right here, and I'm applying them using liquid latex. So I kind of dab the edges around with liquid latex. I dab the edges around using liquid latex, let it dry for a little bit. Now we're just gonna stick that. I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but I'm going to be using liquid latex around. I'm going to use shadows once it's dry to add a dimension to the horns anyways, so. Yeah, we're gonna let that dry. And yeah, that's basically it after that.
Nice.
Final step is just adding shadowing around the horns to add dimension. Again, I'm going to use my shadow for that. So that is the little step-by-step on how to create a female Hellboy.
Okay, thank you so much, Raquel. This looks amazing. And for everyone watching, where can they find you?
So I'm on Instagram at glamour, the letter N, gore.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye, guys.
With the lesson from Raquel under our belt and the convention less than a week away, now is my time to practice the makeup application on my own and do a final fitting. We will see you next week when we put it all together and wear it out. I'm Michelle, and you're watching The Lunchbox.